Hello, and good evening, everyone. I am your host, Harold Sleeper, and tonight I bring you the first of the many grab bag videos. Featured here are 4 tales, 4 macabre stories, coming to you from 3 talented authors from the r/anxiety pilled and r/tales from the creeps subreddits. We will begin our evening with the story Carbonara from user Man with Fat. I'm a bit of a foodie, I suppose. Lunchtime is my oasis, feet kicked up, bubbly in hand. My week is a revolving door of delivery bags. The drivers have learned to loathe me, for I am their liege. Every day, when I open up my lunch, it's the talk of the office. Oh wow, that smells so good. Can you tell me where you ordered that from? Can I try? No, I won't, and no, you can't. Taste is not a privilege, it's earned. And I have the best taste. Crispy pizzas, piled with olives, little-known Indian dishes you couldn't pronounce, and boutique burger shops. I know them all. But there's one thing I couldn't live without. Delicious, firm carbonara, a gentleman's meal. The epitome of taste. Alas, my favorite Indian place closed last week. There was no way I could miss Carbonara Thursday. It wasn't a problem, I suppose. I just had to stop out of my comfort zone and order from a new place. My coworker walks by my office and sticks his head in. Hey man, it's almost lunchtime. What are you getting today? Wouldn't you like to know? Alright. He walks away, fuming, I assume, angry that I won't let him into my culinary genius. I get a notification on my phone. It's already here. That's strange. I hadn't placed an order yet. Perhaps DoorDash had finally decided to reward my patronage. Even though it's free, they better not expect a tip. Our receptionist flags me down as I stroll into the lobby. Hey, there's a big bag here with your name scrawled on it. To be quite honest, I don't remember it being delivered. It smells delicious, though. What did you get? Wouldn't you like to know? I say again. She gives me a strange look. Not that I earned one. She was strange for asking. She wasn't wrong, though. The brown bag is not a great form of presentation, but the aroma is unlike anything I've ever smelled. I walk through the cubicles of my underlings. They all crane their necks at the arrival of my carbonara's scent. I simply grin at them. They know they don't deserve it. Finally, alone in my office, I close the door so the hot steam of the food permeates the entire room. I open the mini fridge and grab a pomegranate bubbly and open the bag. At the bottom is a large metal serving tray. It's crinkled closed to seal the contents. I press my hand against it to feel the gentle warmth. So far, I am wholly underwhelmed with the presentation, but by God, it smells heavenly. It looks like a standard carbonara. There's an appropriate amount of sauce, seemingly high-quality noodles. Its appearance is unimpressive, but the smell carries me into my first bite. It's incredible. The sauce is perfectly delicate. The eggs are whisked to perfection. Guanciale is rendered to a science with the most tantalizing black pepper. My worries melt away in a deluge of bliss. My toes crinkle and I crane my neck to the sky. I keep shoveling the pasta into my mouth. Bigger and bigger forkfuls. I don't even take the time to chew. I didn't realize how loudly I had been moaning. Nearly a dozen of my coworkers were standing at the door. I do what I never thought I would do. I take one noodle from the bowl and throw it to them. They stand for only a second before going at each other like rabid dogs. I throw a few more pieces, watching them rip each other apart just to try my lunch. Oh, I would have shared my food long ago if I knew it was this fun. They claw at each other's arms and faces, digging their fingers into each other's eye sockets to find leverage. Blood pools on the carpet, and I throw more noodles onto my coworkers. I'm laughing hard through mouthfuls of half-chewed pasta. My boss comes in and falls to the floor, trying to grab some of my scraps. Here's a promotion. I toss him a noodle, and he's mobbed by the others, ripped to shreds while he stows it away in his mouth. I've been having too good of a time. Such a good time. I didn't realize that the container was almost empty. They all looked to me when my blessings cease. eyes glazed over like decades-old mutts with cataracts. I shove the rest of the pasta into my mouth. They crawl towards me, and I shout, "I have shared plenty, you're all ungrateful." They don't humor me with a response. One of the ingrates clumsily knocks into my desk, almost tipping my bubbly. What a waste that would have been. They cling to me, dozens of them. They cling and dig. With their nails and mouths, they rip into my flesh, discarding chunks of skin and muscle and fat. I try to fight them off, but I'm unable. I know what they want. They break through into my stomach, spilling hot noodles onto the floor around me. I sob as I lose my lunch. The fluorescent lights above grow ever dim as I close my eyes to rest. It's quite a shame, really. There's no way to understand how good it really is. And now, another story from Man with Fat. Life tube. Jeremy is having his life tube removed today. He looks at me and says, "I'm going to have my life tube removed." I scoff at him. Scoff. He must not have seen my new and improved life tube. I bought it on Klarna. You can buy life tubes now and pay for them later. Jeremy was always a stubborn, rude bastard. You aren't listening to me. I've realized I don't need a life tube to live. I don't mean to ignore you. It's just that what you're saying is idiotic and unreasonable. Fair enough. Jeremy storms off. Fucking moron. He was really going to go through with it. I have to see it happen. I know he can't go to the clinic. They'd never remove one of their own life tubes. They'd probably just upsell him. Especially since Jeremy is such a sucker. So I follow his dumb ass. Winding through the copy-pasted alleys, swaths of homeless wriggle around in piles of their own shit, but even they have a life tube. He looks left and he looks right before ducking into a greasy old door. The sign up top reads, "Papa Chew's Barbecue, serving up greasy species." Shoulda known Jeremy would be dumb enough to have the procedure done by some hick. I step close to the door and rub and tug on my life tube. It lets me hear him inside. I can assure you that the procedure won't be painless, but I envy your courage. Whose voice is that? Sounds like some posh asshole. Doubt that's big Papa Chew, probably some snake oil husker that's still gonna take Jeremy's life credits and ground his corpse into sausage. It's not courage, it's something else. I need to know what it feels like to be human without the interface. Very well, we'll begin shortly. Oh, blah 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 blah. This asshole is really in there blowing himself. Ooh, look at me, I'm so special and different. Different is difficult. Jeremy just wants to be special, shoulder a burden he brought on himself. There's a reason all the monks are dead. I hear the doctor come back in. He huffs and puffs. I turn off the life tube. Once, the saws start whirring. I just had lunch and the sound was sullying my appetite. The alleyway smells like piss. Of course it does. The site of Jeremy's grand sacrifice is covered in piss and cat shit. I wait too long outside. An hour might have passed. I'm not entirely sure. The new life tube has a time skip feature. It can also record video in 32K and has an attachment that'll suck your dick. Jeremy doesn't appreciate that. Doesn't appreciate anything. Fucking bastard. I tune in again. The saw blades have stopped. Sounds like Jeremy is recovering. "How do you feel?" says the snooty-ass doctor. I feel whole. Applause breaks out in the room. Oh, there's an audience? A whole gaggle of idiots to suck his ego. Well, fuck you, Jeremy. I've got a life tube for that. This is the beginning of a new dawn, son. This can change the world. Why change it? I love it the way it is. I love my mindless remote job. I love my concrete cube apartment. I love instant meals printed in my fridge. I love porn I can inject in my brain stream. I love my life tube. I turn the sound off. No way I'm listening to him gloat and self-aggrandize. I find a loose brick next to a pile of shit and trash. I lean up against the wall, next to the door. I wait. The door opens slowly. I see his feet first. He stomps into the alleyway and takes a big breath, the first tubeless breath taken in open air in centuries. He turns, and his eyes catch mine. He's confused, as he should be. "Hey man, the procedure went really well." I swing the brick into his head. It digs a deep pit in the side of his skull. Blood gushes from his eyes and nose. I hit him a few more times. My arm doesn't get tired. I paid extra for that. He's reduced to a puddle on the sidewalk. He should have known he couldn't live without a tube. And now, a story from user Mythic Melon. Baby teeth. $10,000 for pulling teeth. That was the job description. I don't think the words even registered before I clicked accept. I saw the pay and booked the gig as fast as my thumb could move. Within minutes, I was in my mom's pickup, heading out towards the address listed in the app. The infamous Side Gigs app. The latest craze in the gig economy we've come to know and love. The jobs aren't always as weird and cryptic as this one, but the tame ones don't pay as well either. When I first signed up, I started with conventional stuff: food delivery, taxi service, amateur landscaping. Not a lot of effort if you're willing to accept minimal pay, but if you really want to make a living, you gotta scroll all the way to the bottom. That's where the good stuff lives. The odd jobs. The jobs that pay well because nobody is willing to do them. Now, it's not what you think. The app does its best to filter out the sexual stuff. The jobs are just odd. The first one I took had a heading that read, "Big pile of rocks, need moving, no other details, $500 offer." $500 to move rocks? I could hardly believe it. The address alone was enough to scare off a casual browser. I showed up to a dusty trailer park with a wheelbarrow and some gloves in the back of my car. I thought I'd meet with some pet project. A new driveway, perhaps? Nope. A fidgety man with 2 teeth greeted me in dusty blue overalls. He packed his lip and pointed to the pile of boulders in his front lawn, said I just needed to move them to the back. When I asked where, he simply replied, "Wherever," before hobbling back inside. I didn't understand, but I obliged. The job took about an hour. I offered to do more, but the man refused. He tossed me a stack of bills and waved me off. I sat in the truck in silence. The money felt heavy in my hand as I tried to make sense of what I'd just done. Just when I thought it couldn't get any stranger, the man came back out of the house. He must have thought I'd already left. Probably best he didn't see me lingering. I pulled out slow as he walked in a hurry to the back of his trailer. He approached the new pile of rubble and began carrying one of the boulders back to the same spot I moved it from. I couldn't believe it. What was the point? Why pay so much to move the pile? Did he just like watching dudes carry rocks to his backyard? I spent the whole drive home turning it over in my head and came up with nothing. Some jobs don't make sense. I learned to live with that. I didn't fret over this interaction for long. I took another job shortly after that made me forget all about it. A woman paid me to come name her kittens. She claimed she made a deal with an entity long ago that would lay waste to all she claimed in exchange for some heroin. Having someone else name her belongings was a way to circumvent that, or so she said. I sat on her shag carpet for an hour with a litter of 6 kittens, trying out names until she felt safe. I left with $600 and a smell of kitty litter on my clothes. That same day, I was picking up a bouquet of flowers for someone's mom. You really never know what you're going to get. Sure, the gigs can get a little creepy, but it honestly doesn't bother me. I'm making a good living, and my days are interesting. That's good enough for me. Unfortunately, my family doesn't see it the same way. When they found out I flunked out of college and didn't have a real job, they had a lot to say about it. Shameless, disgraceful. My mom called me a loser during one of her wine-induced tirades. I'll admit, I'm not the son you brag about to your friends. I don't have a snazzy degree and trophy family like my siblings, but hey, I'm happy with who I am. That's more than most people can say. Sure, the work I do is strange, but it's not like I'm doing anything dangerous. Or so I thought. I was scrolling side gigs on my couch when I came across the job. $10,000 to pull a tooth. I drove to the address as quick as I could. Didn't want to risk someone trying to double book the gig. The house was nestled out in the woods on a nice part of town. A wall of sycamores opened up to reveal a white 2-story house sitting atop a grassy hill. The house was fancy looking, but the vibes were off. No cars in the driveway. Not a single light on inside. And yet, everything was clean and well kept. The yard, the exterior, the driveway. It just felt empty. I tried to knock 3 times, but the door cracked open on the second rap. "Are you here for the job?" The man was short, pasty, and wearing a robe. He had a small rein of hair around his head, and the bushiest eyebrows I think I've ever seen. His eyes were almost as large as his smile. Yeah, that smile was wicked. Thick, brick-like teeth jutted in every direction. It was hard to look anywhere else. "Oh yeah, I'm Dave." I reached out my hand to shake his. He ignored the gesture and pulled back the door to let me inside. I stepped into the dimly lit entrance. "So the job you said you needed a tooth pulled?" I asked anxiously. He started down the hall in front of me and waved me to follow. The entrance was bare, like the outside. The walls were a cold gray. Light from silver fixtures illuminated dark tile beneath us. There were no pictures, decor, or furniture of any kind. The aesthetic was surgical, clean, and cold. "Let's talk when we get you to the room," he said very calmly. His voice was chirpy, like a cricket. I was starting to feel the pressure now. Every step further down the creepy hallway was a step further from safety. Everything about this felt wrong. We continued for a few long minutes before turning the corner into a room. Plastic wrap crunched under my feet as I entered. It looked like a scene out of Dexter. The room was gray like the rest of the house, bare except for an old chair sitting at the center and a cracked porcelain bathtub in the corner. Beside the chair sat a tall metal desk. An array of surgical tools glinted under the fluorescent lighting. "Oh shit." I started backing out before he interrupted me. I know. My apologies. This must appear sinister." He plopped himself in the chair and started adjusting the seat back. "I'll cut to the chase. I need dental work." A chuckle escaped me. I'm no dentist, sir," he chuckled in response. "Yes, of course not. You see, I'm in a bit of a bind. I'm an immigrant. I came here a long, long time ago from a place I'm sure you've never even heard of." His voice was chittery, like an insect. I couldn't pin down the accent. He pressed a small lever beside the chair and leaned back. The fluorescent light dilated his pupils until his eyes were nearly completely black. "I've been tardy on my citizenship and have gotten myself on your government's radar. I prefer to save myself a doctor's visit if I can, at least until my citizenship issue is dealt with. No need to raise any more eyebrows." Nothing about his rationale made sense. Even if all this were true, why would anyone pay a random guy to do dental work? "So if you're willing to pay me $10,000 just to pull a tooth?" I tried to quietly step back, but the crunch of plastic wrap gave away my unease. He laughed this time, a long, hearty laugh. No, dear boy. I'm going to pay you $20,000 to pull my tooth." My heart nearly skipped a beat. 20 grand? Don't need to tell me twice. I quickly walked up to the metal tray beside him and picked up a small pair of surgical pliers. "Which tooth?" He grinned. "Top left, all the way in the back. It's infected, and I prefer to just take it out. I have lots more, after all." He laughed again, then opened his mouth wide. It was unnatural, like a serpent welcoming its next meal. I didn't waste any time. Within seconds, I was clamping the pliers down on his large brick tooth. The tooth wasn't loose or discolored at all. It felt firm under the pliers. That's when I got a good look at the rest of his mouth. How many teeth does a normal adult have? 30-something? I counted 30 on the top alone. They were crowded. Some branched out of the gums like gnarled porcelain, while others simply butted between larger teeth. But they weren't dirty. They were clean, pearly white. I was stuck in a trance until I heard him say, "Go ahead." The words were muffled from my hand in his mouth, but he sounded sure of himself. I clamped down and pulled. Nothing. I thought I must have hurt him, but he simply offered a thumbs up and returned to staring at the ceiling with his mouth agape. I yanked again. No luck. Again. A little more give that time. One more. Plop. I almost fell backwards, but caught my balance at the last moment. The large tooth was finally out. Bits of gum tissue and nerve endings hung loosely at the base. I dropped it on the metal table beside the chair and decided it was time to talk business. "So, about the money. 40,000, he muttered. His body remained fixed in the chair. His eyes were glazed and blood dribbled down his chin from my handiwork. 40,000? For one tooth?" He chuckled, blood spraying across my shirt and catching me in the face. I started frantically wiping it off. "No, 40,000 for you to keep going." I smeared what remained of the blood off my forehead and took another step back. "How many teeth?" He spat a clot of blood onto the plastic wrapping below and sunk back into the operating chair. "Until I say stop." He shot me a bloody grin and opened his mouth once more. A rational man would have run. For some reason I couldn't bring myself to. Maybe the other jobs just desensitized me. Maybe the money was too good to pass up. Whatever the reason, I decided to let it play out. I got to work on the other side of the mouth. The next tooth was smaller and round, not bricky like the first one. It popped out with a loud click. The blood really started to flow now. He didn't even wince, same as the first time. I pulled the tooth beside it, working my way around the morbid ring of enamel. 2, 3, 4 teeth. The blood was getting unmanageable. He kept having to take spit breaks just so I could see what I was doing. The swelling in his head was gnarly. Then came the pain. Small whimpers and groans escaped the strange man. His hands were tight and pale as he gripped the armrests at his sides. The sight was unbearable. The bloody pliers were heavy in my shaky hand. Bile was building in the back of my throat. I took a shallow breath and started backing away, but he gripped me by the forearm before I could get far. Sick. His mouth was so swollen he could hardly speak at this point. 60,000. Don't stop. 60,000. There's no way he's telling the truth. 60,000 for this. And yet, I chose to believe. I swallowed hard and got back to work. The next hour was hard to remember. I just kept going. I was on autopilot. Mechanical. Emotionless. His whole head was twice its original size now. He was choking and moaning in pain as I tore through whatever remained. I must have gone through 40 teeth at this point. About halfway through I stopped collecting them on the metal tray. I let them fall to the waxy plastic-covered floor. I tried to remain focused, but questions kept bubbling up in my mind. What kind of being chooses this? Who would pay thousands to have his own teeth torn out? I reached for the next tooth with my pliers, but nothing remained. I removed them all. Every single one. I turned away from the mess in front of me and vomited onto the floor. I was trying to compose myself when the man began to stir. He stumbled out of the chair and began making his way toward the porcelain tub in the corner of the room. His whole body, from the nose down, was covered in crimson. The pain crippled him, pressing his broken body to the floor. He got on his knees and felt his way to the rim of the tub. His eyes were swollen shut so he could no longer see. I watched in horror as he dropped the blood-stained robe and practically fell into the tub. Ice water splashed onto the wrapped floor, sending a wave of teeth and gore lapping at my feet. The broken enamel chattered at my blood-stained boots as if they were still anchored to a mouth. He sat himself up and rested his large head against the back of the tub. It was surreal, watching this bobble-headed thing try to collect itself. Its eyes were swollen shut, gum spilling out of the middle of its stretched lips like loose intestines. Then I heard a sound, a wheezy laugh. His body jerked and spasmed as chuckles escaped the small gaps in his face. Just then, I heard loud raps upstairs. Tiny footprints were approaching from somewhere above. None of this was making any sense. I had to get out. I sprinted back the way I came. The fluorescent lights above pulsed overhead as I made my way to the exit. I could still hear the laugh, the sound of many things making their way to the bloody mess I helped create. I was a few strides from the door when something snagged my foot and sent me tumbling to the door frame. I shook the fall off and frantically ripped the culprit off my foot. It was a bag, a dark bag that blended into the black tile floor so I could barely see it. Stacks of bills were spilling out of the top. This was my payment. Someone, or something, arranged for me to have it. I grabbed the 2 black duffels and made my way out the door. Before I knew it, I was peeling down the long cement road under the cover of sycamores. I'm not sure what to think about what happened that night. I haven't even bothered to check the bags of cash. They're still in the back of my car, a bloody reminder of the hell I put myself through for money. When I close my eyes, I still see 'em. I can't get the image out of my head. The toothless, laughing thing convulsing in the bathtub. As I sit here in bed, a sound startles me. It's side gigs. I received a new message. It's the man from yesterday. Just a single line of text. An ominous 4 words. Same time next week. And now, for the final story in this 4-course meal. The White Rabbit, by user SXE Savior. When she beckons, I follow. With a crooked finger, she motions for me to wander into the unknown. her hand in mine. Her blonde waves flow down her back and bounce with each step into the darkness. Her eyes shine an impossible blue and act as my beacon of hope. I've never once seen them dull. As she smiles upon me, her teeth perfectly straight, she lets out the faintest giggle. One more? Yes. I always say yes. She hands me the needle, and when it enters my vein, when I feel the warmness spread through my body, that is when I enter Wonderland. I wake up hours later, my body calm and my mind at ease. She sits next to me, stroking my hair and looking down at me. I believe she looks at me as God looks upon his children. I find it fitting. Sleep well? Her voice is silk, and I can't stop a smile from coming upon my lips. Always, I say as I bring my head into her lap. What time is it? It doesn't matter. I feel her fingers stop to scratch my scalp. We have all the time in the world. She was the master of time. When I had first met her, she brought me into a world without time. Her name was Destiny, though everyone calls her Rabbit. There was a story attached to that name, one I never learned. It seemed as though it was a story she was unwilling to tell, despite the fact I know everything else about her. She is 2 years my elder. Her favorite color is white. She hates the taste of chocolate, and she loves me. She loves me and all that comes with me, including my vices. Before her, heroin was my mistress. I had fallen down in a spiral of self-destruction that ended with her. Destiny found me with a needle in my arm and a weak pulse in my neck. She gave me back the gift of life and brought me to a new one where time was ours and the world was for the taking. With her even came a handle on my vices. She provided, she regulated, she understood, she loved. I was happy. I am happy. My body stretches over her lap as I flip onto my back. What's the plan? I ask. Whatever you want it to be. An answer as simple as usual. You're at your limit. I think it's time for something easy. Whatever you say. As she stands, her hand strokes my arm, and she pulls me to my feet. Her lips tasted of strawberry, a taste I missed as soon as she pulled away. Come, I have something for you. It was a faint whisper, one which I have heard before. I've heard it before. I've seen it before. In a cage, on the floor, sat past her pet rabbit. Louis, she coos softly as she opens the door. Come say hi. On its perfect white fur were button eyes, black as the night sky. They pierced through me as she brought him to her chest. Instinctively, I reached to pet him. He is soft, pristine. I look at his cage. I notice the dust and rust. Then I look at him again. He is clean. Why is he clean? We've been here before. My hand reels back. The voice echoes off the walls in my mind as my eyes find Louis's. He is staring at me. He's just as bonny, Alex. Destiny laughs. I laugh too. Sorry, I thought I heard something. I pet him again. He does not take his eyes off me. I hide my shudder, and I look back to Destiny. Always jumpy, poor boy. You still haven't come down. Let's find something to eat. My eyes are stuck on Louis as he's put back in his cage. Finally, his eyes blink, and I am able to breathe. We find ourselves in the back booth of a diner, pancakes she has paid for in front of us. I stuff my face, and she wipes the excess syrup from my chin with a napkin. I find myself smiling, thinking of how beautiful she is, not only in her appearance, but her soul. She is holiness, wrapped in a cardigan. She is my hope and my future. I catch her smile, flash, and she takes a bite off her own plate. Why me? Her smile fades slightly. Why not you? Look at me, Rabbit. Before you, I was strung up in an alleyway, ready to die. A sigh escapes me. What did you see in me? I saw a life waiting to be fulfilled. Her words are soft and calculated. A wasted life is worse than death, my love. Her hand finds mine, her fingers interlacing my own. Now eat. We have business later. Why do those words feel familiar? Why does this day feel familiar? Is it déjà vu, they call it? Maybe. We leave the diner at dawn. The sun began to warm the air. My skin is gold under its rays. She takes my hand again and leads me to the unknown. People stare, as they are wont to do, but in the window of the apartment above me, I see him. Lewis. His button eyes stared down at me yet again. Don't you remember? Destiny pulled me further. She did not look back. She did not say a word, but her grip became tighter. I look at the window again. It is empty. I am not coming down as I should, and I am scared. The door is rotting. Destiny gave a gentle knock. Her smile is still left on her face. You know the drill, Alex. Let me talk. Of course, Rabbit. The words fall off my tongue easily. Too easily. My face scrunches slightly as the door opens. A tall, dark man faces us, his face tattered with scars, hidden slightly due to the shadow cast by his cap. Rabbit and Alex. His mouth does its best to curve into a smile. Out already? You know our schedule, Ed, just the usual. His eyes flick over to me, and I look away. I can't stand to look at him. He invites us in, into his dark and broken home. We stand in what was once a living room, and wait as Ed finds our supply. When my head turns, I see the cage. I see Lewis. Rabbit, I whisper, my voice shaky. He's here. Who is? Lewis. She laughs, but doesn't turn her head. You know that's impossible, my love. But I see him, and he sees me. I am looking right at him. Stop following. I close my eyes. The voice is louder. When they open, he is gone, and Ed has our supply. Destiny takes it, kisses Ed on the cheek, and takes my hand again. I stare at where the cage was. Empty. I am losing my mind. Home again. A small apartment with constricting walls and cracked windows. I stare at the ripped poster in front of me as I hear Destiny, her bare feet making small noises on the cold floor. Rabbit? My voice is weak. Something is wrong. She frowns at me and sits next to me. What is it, my love? This day feels the same as yesterday, as the day before, but I see him. I see Lewis everywhere. My voice raises without my consent. I lean back against the wall and feel the cold tile. I am in the bathtub. I do not remember being in the bathtub. I'm scared, Rabbit. She runs her hand through my hair. You poor boy. Must be a bad high. Her lips meet my cheek, but I feel nothing. I'm not high. I know I am not. I know it. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. A needle is in her hand. No, Rabbit. It will make you feel better, my love. No, it won't, I yell. I never yell. Not at Destiny. My chest aches, and I sigh. I need to rest. I feel the needle in my arm. My eyes widen. I can't hide my shock. You'll thank me, my love. Sleep. I do. As always, I follow. Fool. I am dreaming. I dream of Lewis. He is free of his cage. He sits in front of me, his eyes judging me. What more must I do? Is she the only one you listen to? What? You are a foolish boy to follow her like you do. She's why you keep doing this. Doing what? My breaths are ragged. Break the chain, boy. Be free of her. Be free of this day. What must I do? I am frantic now. He takes one hop towards me. Remember. I wake in a cold sweat. Destiny cradles and shushes me. Bad dream, my love. Just a bad dream. She leans down and kisses my sweat-riddled forehead. I do not remember how long I slept, but I wake up feeling better, much better. I stand, put on some clothes, and walk out the room to find Destiny, naked, in the kitchen. Come. When she beckons, I follow. With a crooked finger, she motions me to wander into the unknown, her hand in mine. One more? I know she's asked me this before. I know I should say no. Yet, yes, I always will answer yes.